20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. In the year 1866, a strange and terrifying creature was reported in the oceans around the world. Ships claimed to have encountered a giant sea monster, something that no one had ever seen before. Panic spread among sailors, and the mystery of the sea creature became a topic of debate. The scientific community, the press, and the general public were fascinated by the idea of a monstrous being lurking beneath the waves. To investigate, the U.S. government outfitted a ship called the Abraham Lincoln, led by Captain Farragut. Among the crew were Professor Pierre Aronnax, a French marine biologist, his servant, Conseil, and a Canadian whaler named Ned Land. They set out on an expedition to hunt down the beast and solve the mystery that had captured the world's imagination. After months of searching, the crew of the Abraham Lincoln finally encountered the mysterious creature. To their shock, it wasn't a monster at all, but a marvel of human engineering, a submarine far more advanced than anything known at the time. The submarine was called the Nautilus, and its enigmatic captain was Nemo, a man with a deep hatred for the surface world. The Nautilus struck the Abraham Lincoln, causing the ship to sink. Professor Aronnax, Conseil, and Ned Land were thrown into the sea but were rescued by the crew of the Nautilus. Captain Nemo, upon discovering their identity, decided to keep them aboard his submarine, making them prisoners and unwilling witnesses to the wonders of the deep ocean. As the Nautilus traveled through the world's oceans, Captain Nemo took Aronnax, Conseil, and Ned Land on incredible underwater adventures. They explored coral reefs, shipwrecks, and the ruins of ancient civilizations lost to the sea. They encountered strange and beautiful marine life, from phosphorescent fish to giant squids. The underwater world was a place of breathtaking beauty and danger, unlike anything the men had ever imagined. Despite the wonders they witnessed, tension grew among the three prisoners. Captain Nemo was a complex and troubled man, filled with both brilliance and darkness. His submarine was a refuge from the world above, which he despised, but it was also a prison for those who lived aboard it. Ned Land, in particular, chafed at the confinement and began to plot an escape. One of the most harrowing moments aboard the Nautilus came when the submarine was attacked by a giant squid, a creature of nightmarish proportions. The squid's enormous tentacles wrapped around the submarine, threatening to crush it. Captain Nemo and his crew fought bravely to fend off the creature, but it was a desperate struggle. In the midst of the battle, one of the crew members was seized by the squid and killed, a stark reminder of the dangers that lurked in the depths of the ocean. The encounter left a deep impression on Professor Aronnax, who began to question the wisdom of remaining aboard the Nautilus. The incident also intensified Ned Land's determination to escape, as he realized that their lives were constantly at risk in Nemo's world. As the journey continued, Professor Aronnax learned more about Captain Nemo's past and the reasons behind his hatred of the surface world. Nemo had once been a respected scientist and nobleman, but he had lost everything in a brutal conflict. His family was killed, and he was betrayed by those he trusted. Consumed by grief and rage, Nemo had renounced the world and taken to the sea in the Nautilus, determined to live out his life in isolation and wage a personal war against the injustices he had suffered. Nemo's tragic story evoked both sympathy and fear in Aronnax. He saw the captain as a man who had been driven to madness by his desire for revenge, yet he also admired Nemo's genius and his ability to create a new life in the depths of the ocean. Aronnax was torn between his fascination with the underwater world and his growing unease with Nemo's increasingly erratic behavior. Ned Land, who had been planning their escape from the Nautilus for months, finally found an opportunity when the submarine surfaced near the coast of Norway. He, along with Aronnax and Conseil, prepared a small boat and waited for the right moment to flee. The tension was palpable as they knew that Captain Nemo would not let them go without a fight. In the dead of night, they made their escape, rowing furiously toward the distant shore. As they looked back, they saw the Nautilus vanish beneath the waves, disappearing into the depths of the ocean, perhaps forever. They were free, but the experience had changed them profoundly. They had seen wonders that few could imagine, but they had also witnessed the darkness that could consume a man's soul. After their escape, Professor Aronnax, Conseil, and Ned Land were rescued by a passing ship and returned to civilization. The journey aboard the Nautilus had left a lasting impact on each of them. Aronnax was haunted by the memory of Captain Nemo and the mysteries of the deep ocean. He had witnessed both the beauty and terror of the underwater world, and he knew that he would never see the sea in the same way again. Ned Land, on the other hand, was relieved to be back on dry land, but he could not forget the horrors they had faced. Conseil, always the loyal servant, was grateful to have survived but remained curious about the fate of the Nautilus and its enigmatic captain. The story of their journey spread, becoming a legend of the sea. The Nautilus, a marvel of engineering and a symbol of one man's defiance against the world, remained a mystery that captivated the imaginations of those who heard it. As for Captain Nemo, his fate remained unknown, lost in the depths of the ocean he had chosen as his final refuge.